Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to our bite-sized streaming newscast. KSAT News Now is finally back after a short Christmas break, but RJ, well, he's still enjoying some vacation, so we invited Samuel to join us. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Thank you. How was your Christmas?
It was quiet. But,
yeah.
You know, I think with everyone else impacted by COVID, some things called off and the like. But other than that, it was fine. Had some good food.
Okay, that's what matters, right? Good food, so it's a good holiday.
Yeah. Well, I was here Christmas Eve, so really, I didn't go anywhere because I had to work. So.
News life, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome to KSAT News Now. Making headlines this Tuesday are Legos, so you better start digging around for your toys because they could be worth more than gold, literally. Plus, we'll have the latest COVID updates and more on that shooting spree that left multiple people dead in Denver.
And moments ago, we got an update from SAPD and the FBI on the search for 3-year-old Lina Khil. We'll have more on that in just a bit. But first, we get a quick look at the weather with Katie Blake.
Good morning, Katie.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good morning.
How was your holiday?
Good.
Really good. Not cold enough,
you.
And you're wearing the perfect outfit for today.
I was like, forget the sleeves, man. And I've even got my summer wedges on. No Crocs with socks today. But, like,
Crocs and socks.
Crocs and socks.
It's been so warm and humid. The whole month has been unseasonably warm, and it's probably going to end up being one of our warmest Decembers on record. We'll crunch the numbers, of course, after the first of the year. But here is how the rest of the week and the weekend plays out. Staying really warm here through the end of the work week. If you're off this week, then it's just until the end of the week. But we'll see our afternoon highs near 80 all the way through New Year's Day. So your New Year's Eve will be warm and humid, as will most of your New Year's Day. But we have a front coming through. Our next strong front moves through New Year's Day evening. And look at the changes by Sunday. We're talking a 20 to 30 degree temperature drop from Saturday to Sunday. So before we talk the cool down, why has the month of December been so warm so far? Well, the short answer is because La Nina, that has a grip on the weather pattern over North America. And what that does is it keeps both the Pacific jet stream and the polar jet stream stuck off to the north. So all of the cold air that's building up in the Arctic and Canada, it is stuck up there and it can't dive south. That results in drier and warmer than normal conditions for the southern tier of the U.S., including here in Texas. So in short, that's kind of why it's been such a warm December for us so far. And for the rest of the winter, we can expect similar conditions. That's not to say it won't ever get cold again this winter. In fact, it will get colder again by the weekend. So let's talk about the weather pattern through the end of the week. It really doesn't change much. Staying warm, staying pretty humid, with the exception of a brief break in the humidity on Thursday. Then as we get into the weekend, past the new year, finally that polar jet stream will break a bit. It will be able to dive a bit farther south, and that will allow for the colder air up in the Arctic to drop south and results in a cold front moving through our area. So quick look at what this front will do for us. It's going to change our weather in a lot of ways. It moves through Saturday evening. As it moves through, we're not looking at really a good chance of rain at all, maybe a stray shower, but nothing that's going to help us out very much in the rain department. It is going to be significantly cooler on Sunday, windy as well with very dry air moving in. Then as winds relax Sunday night, Monday morning, so we're jumping ahead to next week, that's when our temperatures have the potential to really bottom out. We've got San Antonio's low for Monday morning above freezing, but it's possible that if data continues to trend a bit colder, that could be San Antonio's first freeze of winter. We did not freeze in fall, so we're way behind on our first freeze here in San Antonio. So it is possible there won't be any precipitation. So we're just strictly talking temperatures here, but overall trending colder for the first few days of 2022, guys.
And there's going to be it's going to be very abrupt. It's like from 80s to 50s.
Honestly, looking forward to it.
Yeah, nice relief.
It's just been finally pulling out the sweaters again, the jacket for sure this time.
Taking it out.
All right. Well, we just heard from Police Chief William McManus. He said agents going over data and trying to establish a link between the information in the case of Lina Khil, that 3-year-old who's been missing for more than a week. They're trying to link the information that they have with video as well as interviews that SAPD has.
Now, the search began last Monday evening after her mother called police and reported that she disappeared from the playground inside the Villas del Cabo apartment complex. That's in the 9400 block of Fredericksburg Road. McManus said canines have once again been called out. They're searching the area beginning at the apartment complex and extending out to Loop 410. That's about a 2.5–3 mile area.
And we also heard from FBI acting agent Justin Garris. They are still asking for tips, but have definitely narrowed down a time frame. Take a listen.
We have a gap right now, and I mentioned it last week, but from 4:49 p.m. last Monday, the 20th, till 5:07, there's an 18-minute window where we had visibility of, where we did not have visibility of Lina. A lot of the tips we've acquired are outside of that 18-minute window.
We continue to get leads. We continue to go over social media posts, seeing if we can't come up with anything that might lead us to where Lina might be or what might have happened to her.
Time frame that authorities are looking for tips specifically is from 4:49 to 5:07 p.m. on Monday, December 20th. So if you have any information, you are urged to call SAPD. The number, we've repeated it so much, 210-207-7660.
There's also a cash reward, Alicia, offered by the Islamic Center of San Antonio and Crime Stoppers. That's a combined total of $150,000 for information that may lead to Lina and an arrest. Definitely a mystery right now for what happened.
I mean, what happened, right? We know that the mom was with her at the park. The mom stepped away, and we were actually at that apartment complex, and it's not far. You're talking just a few steps from that building where they live in, the family, Lina's family, to that playground, not far. So still a lot of questions there, and hopefully authorities get some answers very soon that could lead to her.
And we'll definitely have the updates. We cut in on air for that presser, so any updates on this we'll let you know about.
Yeah, now we'll move over to Denver, Colorado, where a shooting spree has finally ended, and the investigation it's barely in its beginning stages.
Now, 5 people, including the shooter, are dead. 3 others, including a police officer, injured. Now, as of late Monday, that officer was undergoing surgery. Police say the shooting spree began around 5 p.m. Monday in Denver, spread across multiple locations. One of those locations was at a Nordstrom Rack in a nearby suburb. Police instruct employees there to lock all the doors and huddle employees and customers in the backstock area for several hours.
The shooting spree finally ended in that area after shots were exchanged between police and the suspect. The suspect nor the 4 fatal victims have been identified, and authorities, of course, are still investigating a motive. So scary situation there. I mean, the point that it's spread across so much area. So 4 or 5 locations is what they're investigating.
Multiple stores. Just imagine being out running errands and then you're forced to go to the back of a store or something like that. That's just, you just can't imagine that. You know?
And some of those employees, you mentioned how they were huddled in the backstock area. One of those employees mentioned to a local news channel there that when they walked out, they actually saw the body of that suspect. So again, that spree finally ending after a shootout, really, with the suspect and police, but still authorities don't know what the motive was or if he had any connection to any of these victims. But again, that's another story that we'll keep you looped in on.
Now to the latest on the Omicron variant. The CDC cutting down on the time that people need to quarantine or isolate after testing positive. Now you only have to isolate yourself for 5 days instead of 10.
A lot of back and forth here, but they also say workers can go back to work after 7 days. That's with a negative test and no symptoms. This comes as multiple industries are experiencing big backups because of staff being out sick.
Also seeing those shortages in the airline industries. Thousands of flights were canceled over the holiday weekend and yesterday, including here in Texas. The Omicron variant is proving to be much more contagious than the Delta variant. And Omicron now accounts for more than 70% of new cases in the U.S. And you see there Apple temporarily closing some stores. And remember, during sort of the initial pandemic, a lot of it was Apple was sort of the canary in the coal mine, so to speak. If they were closing their stores, you kind of knew how serious it was.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that again with just, I know people from New York. I grew up there, and there's like so many people I know, or either they've tested positive or they know people have tested positive. So it's definitely
And even with
time up there,
sports,
right.
we just heard about how many over the weekend being out from the game. And
Right.
I think it was the Texans game, if I'm not mistaken, that it was a close call for them because they didn't have enough. They almost didn't have enough players to actually go through with a game.
Like last night, Monday Night Football, they're down to their fourth quarterback because of injuries and 2 COVID cases. So strange times we're in for sure.
Absolutely. Some good news.
Yes.
A lot of us, of course, grew up with Legos, or some cases, children are playing with them right now. But
What if he told you that holding on to those old Lego sets could be one of the best investments you can make? According to the New York Post, researchers at Moscow's Higher School of Economics found retired Lego sets appreciated in value 11% annually, 1987 to 2015.
okay, so get this. That's more than gold, stocks, or bonds. The report found that the sets increase in value over time due to high collectible value. Also, it's combined with the diminishing supply of Legos. And we know that over the pandemic, those Lego prices surged as children and adults had more time on their hands. Actually, leading up to Christmas, I was at Target shopping for my niece and nephew. Both of them really love Legos. So I was like, that'd be a cool gift. They are so overpriced. I am a cool Thea, as I say, but no, not cool enough. I put it right back after I did the price check. They're so expensive.
I mean, when I was a kid, they weren't, they were, I don't want to say they were like cheap, but they were like a nice gift, but they weren't sort of like, out of reach, insurmountable
I mean, I don't know if I'm being cheap. They had like the Lego.
No, you're being frugal.
Thank you. The Lego, they have like this bouquet of flowers, of Lego flowers, and that one I believe was $100. They had a cool Mickey one. Yeah, the Lego Harry Potter at Walmart, $130. No, thank you. I don't remember it being that expensive.
We got to save up. Hopefully
And then
they're not
it'll go
watching
up in
this.
value.
Okay, hopefully they're not watching this. You're gonna have to get it next year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back home and check for Legos to
Yes,
see if
there
we
you
have
go.
any. All right, well, from COVID-19 vaccines first being administered to the February freeze in Texas that we definitely cannot forget, to Fiesta making a return, and UTSA's historic season, a lot has happened in 2021.
Though this year seemed to race by quickly, it was filled with a lot of ups and downs, not only for South Texas, but the entire nation. Here's a look back at what we've been through over the past 12 months.
We the people!
Procedure and decorum in Congress shattered today when a peaceful protest turned into a siege.
Let's have trial by combat.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
This way.
The Capitol went into lockdown with members of Congress inside. A Universal City man facing charges in connection with the breach at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. 52-year-old Stephen Capuccio.
Good morning, everyone. It's a winter wonderland out there.
It's just a beautiful sight to see.
Unprecedented winter weather.
Our city transformed into white.
CPS Energy says it's under orders to begin rotating outages.
What happened this week to our fellow Texans is absolutely unacceptable.
The White House facing a surge in undocumented teens crossing the border.
Federal officials today announcing the opening of a second emergency shelter for unaccompanied migrant children right here in San Antonio.
An active shooter killed at the airport after San Antonio police say he was firing shots at random, aiming at an officer and at one of the terminals.
People as young as 16 are eligible for the vaccines. The city of San Antonio began offering them this morning with no reservations needed.
People say it's great to see life getting back to normal.
Chicken on a stick.
We are going to party tonight.
He emerged from the home holding 2 large handguns, firing at us and an SUV with his own family inside. By my count, 6 times. As we scattered in different directions.
Shots fired 200 block Noria Street. I'm with News Media, KSAT 12.
We really saw no emotion for McCain for much of this trial. Oh, this is a live picture right there. You see McCain with an elbow to the bailiff.
Making headlines this morning, 17 area school districts headed back to classroom today.
new school and a new level of excitement as SAISD teachers and students fully return back to the classroom in person.
A humanitarian emergency. Sky 12 capturing these images. More than 12,000 migrants crowded under the Del Rio International Bridge.
High water has led to heartbreak in East Bexar County. 2 people believed to have died after being swept away by rushing water today.
Embattled President and CEO Paula Gold Williams will resign next year.
We are learning more information when it comes to the deadly drag racing event in Kerrville. The 2 people killed were children. 8 others were also injured.
Came up across the crowd, hit the kids, hit the other people that were there.
And our city has really been celebrating Dia de los Muertos all week long.
The CDC's director now endorsing the recommendation for children 5 through 11 to get the vaccine.
There is no reason to wait.
Dr. Lumali Apache says the vaccine is safe.
Are you excited? Can you feel it? We are right there with head coach Jeff Traylor as he gets his Gatorade bath tonight in the Alamodome. The UTSA Roadrunners are Conference USA champions for the first time.
"2022, are you ready?"
Yes.
Is that a confident guess?
It's a long year. We'll see what it has
I
in
know.
store.
Earlier it was like the year flew by. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think,
It's like
in my
both.
case,
Right.
and then I'm sure you watching at home or on your cell phone, there were some moments where, man, it dragged along.
When I think a lot of people have sort of felt the past 2 years have kind of been together.
Yeah, like
you know,
blurred.
20, 21.
Yeah, we thought like the end was near,
You're
right?
right.
With
COVID.
talking about the
Yeah.
COVID, and then here we are again talking about some of the same things. Well, we want to take a look back at some of the comments from today on Facebook. A lot of people, of course, reacting on the story of Lina, Khil, the 3-year-old that remains missing, even after more than a week after she was reported by her mother. Some saying, "I hope the little girl is safe. Lord, keep this precious child safe and have her return back to her family." And that's what a lot of the community wants, as well as SAPD. Earlier we started the show with an update from Chief William McManus. We also heard from the FBI, did a few updates there.
Right.
Some of the comments on KSAT.com. This person here with a username Slacker, maybe they should check those storage units around there. So the chief didn't really mention specifically storage units, but they are looking back at the apartment complex. The FBI searched the dumpsters again.
I thought that was interesting that they came back in and searched the dumpsters even after they had been dumped, just in case
they missed something.
Or something like that. So it's definitely, even though they're closing a command post and maybe the activity around the complex isn't kind of what it was, last week at this time, there's still an active search.
Absolutely.
There's still a lot of resources. When you see the FBI coming in and joining these pressers, that's an indication of how seriously authorities are taking this.
I believe it was last Thursday when the chief had done another update, and that's when he mentioned as well canines, and he had mentioned that the canines lost the scent of Lina. It was not determined or said where, how far from the complex. But again, as of now, we know those canines are back in the picture, but they're tracking it from that apartment complex to the highway, so to 410.
Right. The Greenbelt area there, and they're searching that area.
Yeah, so thank you to everyone who has tuned in. I'm trying to read through some of these other comments. Some are saying, why aren't we scrutinizing the parents a little more? That's something that SAPD is dealing with, right? With these interviews and family, friends around the area who live there. That is something that investigators are handling, and not, of course, the
obviously
public.
they're talking to the parents and everything, and everyone, and they knocked on doors through that entire complex.
And they actually, I know, at least I spoke to one woman who said they came into my apartment. They asked, of course, I said yes, and they were trying to determine if there was any sort of evidence left behind that could point to Lina. So in some of these apartments, we know they did go in. So they are definitely
inside
going to
and hid or something like that.
So with that story and more, we'll keep you updated. Obviously, the news at noon, more news then. But thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for joining us for the first time on KSAT News Now.
This was fun to be in this seat, not
little
just
different.
getting debriefed. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, we will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a great day.